Hey guys, what's up? It's Derek here. We're starting our live stream. This is going to be a 1 hour stream for you guys on the internets who like to watch us. I guess we're also on the internets. How do we do this? What's going on? Where's my stuff? There's my chat. Okay, so we're ready to roll here. We're going to be taking your guys' questions. It's me, Derek, and to my right, we got Mike.
Hello, I'm here. To your right.
Mike is noticeably non-beardy today. I'm disappointed. I thought after I started growing a beard, everyone in the office would grow a beard, and Naoko and Aoi, I know they can't grow one, and so.
Oh, it'd look terrible if I do that. But I'll try.
Who's sending me messages? If your name is Steve and you sent me a message and you're watching this, which I don't think that you are, I'm sorry, I won't be able to help you for at least 1 hour from now. Also, we got Mike leaving in about 15 minutes to go do a pickup and a drop off.
I think Naoko's doing that.
Naoko's?
Unless you want me to do that.
Oh, if Naoko can do it, that would be nice. Naoko, are you okay to go down there?
Yeah, sure, yes.
Are you really okay? Are you going to come back and you're going to be... Are you on the phone? Okay, so yeah, let's start with some questions. We got your questions and we got your answers. I'm just gonna quickly see who's here. We got our very first comment from Yuki Kaze, which is cool. It's like Snowstorm. Snowstorm's a rad name. It kind of sounds like a G.I. Joe's name. Good morning, guys. How you doing? From Robbie. What's up, Robbie? John Clark has a question already, and we can probably get into that question, but we're going to just say hello to all my buds. We got Stalker Bill. He's here. That's cool. Bill Courtney, do you have 2 YouTube accounts? Because there's somebody called Zed Billster that I always thought was you, but you have Bill Courtney as your name in this version. So is Zed Billster you, or is it a secret? I hope I'm not letting out your secrets here. Lusoe Hardware. Hey everyone, I'm here. And you guys can pick your cars. And you can pick your questions right now. We're going to start in just a few seconds. Derek, yes, I have bathed and I have changed, but this one here is kind of like a coat, so I wear this pretty regularly with my regular clothes. It is the same one I was wearing last week because...
I thought you were talking about your beard when you're like, this one here is a coat.
You know, they have like fake beards that you can put on. There's a toque called the Beardo or Beardy or something. Yeah, it's like a...
Do they look obviously fake? Or?
It's a knit cap and it has a chin strap that's a beard.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool. And except anyone who wears it is probably going to be a moron.
Sorry.
See if I can find a picture of this. Well, we found... Oh, here it is. Right, so if you saw somebody walking down the street wearing this, you would think that that person's a moron, right? But
or
it is...
trying to rob a bank.
That would be so funny if somebody tries to rob a bank wearing this. Right? Yeah. It's like somebody asking for too much attention. And this makes me feel a little bit weird. Like, I think that this is cool, but there's no way that I would wear it. Ah, we know your secret now, Bill. He is Zed Billster. Or Z Billster. What's the significance? Oh. Zabilster? I don't understand it.
Like, I am Zabilster. You listen to me now.
I kind of want like techno music in the background and then like...
Oh, yeah.
Like... I am Zabilster. Like the music cuts and...
I agree.
That's the only lyrics to the song. It'll be as popular as the Tequila song. In fact, we can make a remix. Da, 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 da. I am the Billster. Somebody's saying hi from Grenada. Hey, how's it going? Alvin Thomas from Grenada. We have somebody from Winterpeg. That's pretty funny. We have yet to have a -degrees day here in Yokohama this year, and we've had no snow so far. So sorry to you people living in Canada. Seymour, Indiana. Javier Twins. Reminds me of Mario Twins. Okay, we're starting to get some questions, so let's jump into some questions and some answers on here. Somebody from Australia. Cool, man. The Bill Star joke from a friend 20 years ago. Ah, okay. Thank you for clearing that up for me. So what do we got, Mike? We got a question?
The RA grade
let's
is one
take,
that we get
let's take Beardy off of here.
fairly often. If someone tunes into the live stream, they're like, "What is going on? That's not a car."
What are they?
Derek?
What are they doing over there? Yeah. I'd like everyone to know who didn't hear the speech beforehand. That is not me, and I would never wear a beardy knit cap, or toque as we call them. Okay, so there's a question, what is an RA grade? We actually don't have any here. I was hoping that there would be one here that I can show you. And so this car here is an R grade. And this is maybe the most popular question that we get from people. What is it? And it's one area where almost everybody is wrong about it. So what is an R grade car, and should I buy one? And really, we don't want to be in a position where we're telling anybody which cars that they should be buying. So you pick yourself. For me, I don't usually mind if it's an R grade car as long as it's not that bad. And so an R grade car is a car that's been repaired from an accident. But the key thing to remember is that an accident in Japan may not be the same as what a salvage title or a repaired car is in other countries. So typically in another country like US or Canada, you would get a car that's been in an accident, and then the insurance company says this will cost too much to repair, and so they pay you out the car, and then on the registration this becomes a salvaged vehicle. And then once that happens, the value of the vehicle goes down because it's assumed that the size of the accident is going to be big enough to deter people from wanting to own that. So nobody wants to have a car that says salvage title on the vehicle's title or on Carfax or anything like that. Here in Japan, that's not the case. There's nothing that goes on your registration. And then the size of the accident could be somebody kicking a door that happens to damage some part of the frame. And so if any part of the frame has been repaired, like for example, if you, the R32 Skylines are famous for when you jack them up using the place where you're supposed to jack them up, then I kind of got to take that call. Then they dent that section, and if you ever repaired that section, then the car would get an R grade without actually having been an R grade or a car that was in an accident. And then an RA grade compared to an R grade, this is also a little bit confusing because RA grade is only used at some auctions, and an RA grade might be the exact same as a grade 3 because both of them can mean that the car has been in an accident and either hasn't been repaired or it was a light accident. And so a grade 3 can have been in an accident, just not been repaired, and it wasn't a big enough accident to require it to be repaired. So an RA grade, in my mind, is generally okay most of the time, but it really depends. Like, for example, if I'm buying a car I expect to be a collector's car or something I intend to sell with collector's value, it's better to get one that hasn't been in an accident. But if it's a car I just want to drive for myself and then sell several years later down the road, like an S2000 maybe, I probably wouldn't care too much. So this one is an R grade, like a full R grade, and it has an underline here of any of the areas that are kind of a big problem because of the accident. So it says the front side member is dented, and the left front inner panel has been replaced, and the core support has been replaced. I personally wouldn't go for a car that has had an inner panel replaced, because to me that seems like a big enough accident that it would be a concern to me. So an inner panel is like open the hood, and it's what you see is connected to the suspension strut. That comes up every time, I swear. Where's Drew at gmail.com needs to be updated. No, it doesn't. Go away. Stop. Get out. Get off the screen. So I wouldn't recommend buying this car, but you might want it for yourself. It's fine. But the power steering doesn't work, which to me in an S2000, why bother with a car like this? Also, the engine makes strange noise, which is really weird for an S2000 because the engines in these are fairly reliable. And then the engine oil is leaking as well. Paint damage on the hood. You can see it in the picture, but here it says P3 up here. P2 back here. The back screen needs to be replaced. And this is probably a good, you can definitely see that in the picture there. But this is a good example. Like, we have a nice high resolution picture here, but we have really bad paint on the trunk. But if you look at the picture, you might not be able to see that really bad paint. So the picture is really high and a lot of the damage, and that's why it's I always have to repeat this. You have to pay attention to this, and you have to understand how to read these sheets in order to tell the condition of the car. Here in the front, you can see the bad paint. It's kind of color mismatched. Maybe it's faded at a different rate. Most likely that hood has been replaced at some point. Yeah, it's been replaced. Yeah, is there anything that I'm missing, Mike? About the R grade, RA grade?
No, I think that's covered it, yeah.
Yeah? You want to add something?
No.
No?
You got it.
I don't know.
Sorry,
I feel a little bit weird because I don't spend too much time speaking to customers about this sort of thing. That's more Mike's wheelhouse because he handles more of the new customers than I do. Most of the customers that are in my account are customers I've had for several years and already know all of this stuff. So, yeah.
It's something we get asked often, and I think you covered everything.
How much is the S2000? How much is this one? S2000s usually go for like 8,000 to 15,000 US dollars before other fees. That's just the Japanese price. This one has higher mileage at 150,000. And they sold lots of these in Japan compared to the US, I think. So in the US, this has become something of a harder car to find in good condition. It's still pretty easy to find in good condition in Japan. Just this one's not in good shape by the looks of it. The bad paint, the big accident, it has a big dent in the side sill here, needs the back screen replaced, and who knows if that's gotten wet inside. So this is a car that, one, the seller probably doesn't care about, otherwise he would have taped over the back window. And I think most people are going to skip this car because there are way better S2000s out there, and this one will require work to make better, so lower price. You'll probably see this one go for somewhere around 500,000 yen, which is about 4,000 US dollars, is my guess, but I don't know. That auction is tomorrow. If anyone was interested, then you can send us an, or you can just check back here. It'll say the final price in here because it's not a USS car. Okay, so let's go with another question, maybe.
Another question. Perhaps it's good to do a quick overview of the purchase and shipping process. We get that fairly often.
Purchase and shipping process. Like how to buy from auction?
Yeah, just like a very brief
Okay.
review. Like a lot of people, well, at least on the live stream, are always like, how do I buy a car and ship it? Maybe USA in particular.
So most people, when they ask that question, it takes a really long time to type out or to speak everything in the process. And so there's a very easy to read thing on our website under the process page. And you can find that by going to process right here to the top. And it's step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of every step in the way. And so if this seems like a lot of information to you, it's really not. All of these steps get handled one at a time. And then if you have any stumping questions at the time, then we'll answer those for you. And we kind of guide you through the process too. So in general, it's pretty easy. So browse the auctions using our auction tool. That's easy. You use this site. And this is after you have your account set up. So the very first step is you need to set up an account. So for that, we need assigned terms of service, which is very, very important. And then we also need a security deposit, depending on how much you want to bid up to. So we can send more details on that later if you want. I think that's also somewhere on the website. I just don't know where. Once you're ready to move forward, oh, never mind. Once this was typed like 12 years ago. You can contact us and let us know that you're ready to set up a purchasing account. So I guess number one here just basically means play around with the auction tool because it's free. And you can play around, and it's fun to go and see what kind of cars are out there and what they sell for. We'll send you the terms of service along with information on how to send in the deposit. Once we have those things, you are free to request translations of the auction sheets and place bids. Once you have received the translation of the sheets, then you can bid on them. We'll place your bid for you and notify you of the results if you didn't win, and then if you win, we'll send you the invoice. You have to pay for that within 3 days. And then when we receive the car, we'll do the report on it, which includes photos and videos of the car. So that's like 80 to 100 pictures usually, and like 5 video clips, usually about 15 minutes of video. We arrange the shipping to you to whatever is the closest port to you. It has to be a roll-on, roll-off port. And so, for example, the US has like 10 ports that we can use, and most other countries have like 2 or 3, or in some cases just 1. You clear customs or you hire a broker. If you're in US or Canada, we can hook you up with the broker, and we talk directly with the broker to send them the documents, and so you don't have to do anything for that if you want to use our broker. And then this link here at the very bottom, this one goes to YouTube, and so here we are on YouTube showing you a YouTube video. These are a 4-part process of how to do it, and this goes into a little bit more detail: how to search past sales, how to read auction sheets, and bidding and buying. And Mike, what are we bidding on there?
We are bidding on an Active Honda K-Truck.
Boring. Yeah, John Clark says there are 4 videos that explain the basics. I'd really like to redo those videos to make sure that we're getting exactly every point that I want to get, but those videos are still very good that are up there.
Sorry, there's no tag.
I'm going to check this one from J.U. Shizuoka from Bill Courtney, just because Mike's not here feeding me the information. I'm one of those people that needs to be told what to do. What are we looking at? 531? Did I find it right? Shizuoka. J.U. Shizuoka. Oh. Okay, here we go. That's pretty weird. So I'm gonna have to look this up. This doesn't look like a Sprinter to me, but maybe I'm just not that smart. That's a small picture. So the AE111s all look like this to me. This one looks like the front end has been converted to like the, what's that car? This one. So this is a Trudeau. Ah, see? I don't know anything. Ooh, it's a black limited. Is it? I don't know.
Black top?
No, I'm just talking and not really knowing what I'm talking about.
That's my favorite way to talk.
Okay, so thank you, Bill, for sending this one in and pointing out that I'm an idiot. I thought I knew the AE101s well enough to know them, but basically it's a front-wheel drive small sports coupe. The 101s are silver top, 16 valve, 20 valve per engine, 5 valves per cylinder. This is the GT Apex version. It's an auction grade R, interior C, exterior C, bad paint and rust on the hood. You can see the S1 here. It's actually not a bad looking car, I think. Don't like the wheels on it. So registered until 2018 July. It's a 5-speed manual, aftermarket wheels and rear spoiler. Is that aftermarket? Looks like a stock rear spoiler to me. Tool collection box on it. Rear accident causing damage to the rear floor and the end panel. Both have been replaced. Once again, I'm not down with some pieces being replaced. Various scratches, dents, and stickers on the car. What?
Winner.
We're the winner of that Acti.
Winner, 100% win rate this week.
Woo! Underside surface rest and the dashboard comes up like all 90s Japanese dashboards. Rear over here A3 and some paint marks. Probably has been touch up painted. Paint fade, peeling, paint fade. Doesn't look a cracked taillight. It doesn't look like a good condition car, and the AE111s are still probably the least desirable out of all of the Corolla AE, 11, Sprinter Trudeau, Corolla. All of those ones share the same codes. I don't know. It doesn't really look like there's much reason to buy this. So I think it's probably going to sell for about $1,000 US or so. And then at that, you're basically paying for the parts that come in it. It is a really good engine, but I think most people prefer the blacktop engines these days compared to the silver top engines. They're just a little bit better. The blacktops are.
Can I mention something on the topic of AE vehicles?
Yes, you can.
Why do we not see many AE86s?
Why?
Why?
Do you know the answer to that?
I do.
I need to talk to this person just briefly. Would you like to be a monkey in front of the camera?
Sure. Why not?
Maybe you could do a search of something like an 8.6.
Yes.
See how
Okay.
many that are
Hey everyone.
there.
How's it going? I'm Mike. Now, your setup is different. So the reason we don't get many AE86s on YouTube or anything like that is because a lot of customers in the USA who want to buy them aren't willing to pay the prices that you need to be able to pick one up here in Japan. They're still really popular in Japan, so yeah, a lot of the times the prices that people are budgeting for are not enough to buy the ones in good condition. And the ones in good condition are very expensive because most of them have been in accidents or are R-grade vehicles. So let's find one here. See if there are any up at the moment. Just while Derek is on the phone. Also, I think if the audio is too soft on these as well, please let us know in the chat. Someone mentioned it earlier, but I'm not sure if that's...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Perhaps.
That person just needs to turn it up. We could turn this up a bit. Click
Too
on
soft?
here. It's just a little bit down. And just move that up a bit. A little bit more is okay.
How about that?
Yeah. As long as we're not bottoming out, it should be fine.
As long as not yelling. Okay. Cool. Now, so we've got this one up for auction. This one's a grade 3. So I can't read as much Japanese as Derek can. But corrosion on the roof. Some scratches on the body. Overall, you can tell by the picture. Woo!
Was that scary?
No.
No?
I'm not scared by anything in life.
Do we have any weapons in here?
I hope not. I don't know.
So, hey,
It's an interesting question. Here you go, CA Chubu as well. Or if they're
Those are
not,
nice wheels on that.
yeah. Most of them are also set up for racing. The ones that we've seen recently are all. Are you ready? Do you want to resume?
Sure, but you're
you
fine.
can take over.
No. I would say probably 80% of the 8.6s in Japan have been on a racetrack.
Yeah. For good reason too, right?
I don't know. They're not really that fast. They were just cheap
But
race
fun.
cars for people.
Yeah.
Even before drifting became a thing, they were popular on racetracks because they were just a really inexpensive car that you can go racing in and had a ton of aftermarket support. Here's a tip. Google Translate phone app can sometimes get a decent translation via the phone's camera. Is that true?
Yes, I use it every day here in Japan.
I've never actually used that. And on a sheet like this, you would be able to get a translation because it's all computer typed.
Yeah.
But most of the sheets are written by hand, and that wouldn't work with the handwritten ones.
Yeah, it struggles a lot.
Also, you'll have some difficulties too because a lot of this is shorthand that the translation app just won't understand certain things on here. Even like a Japanese person, like it seems like it would be really easy to translate something if you can speak Japanese and English, but that's not the case. It probably would take a full-time translator at least a month in order to get down how to do it properly.
Do you want to get into some cars?
Why don't we do that? Oh, the digital gauge. That is lovely. These are on the early model ones, and then they didn't have them for very long because they were a bit problematic. But only on the earlier ones like the 83, 84, 85 had them. That's cool. This is a good looking car. Yeah.
I think they want a lot for it. Wasn't the start like 780?
786,000 yen for the start. Has been in an accident, and that's another thing with the 8.6 is you might as well assume you're going to get one in an accident because the ones that haven't been in an accident are very rare, and because of that, the price is very high on them. And so you're looking to spend another 30 to maybe 50% for one that hasn't been in an accident. But otherwise, this one looks really good. Okay, so let's have a look.
Would you like a 90s Hilux pickup, a Honda Beat, or a legacy wagon with a cool body kit that isn't importable to Canada?
Okay, let's take a look at that one.
The legacy?
Yeah.
TAA Kinky 7208.
Kinky. I couldn't find it. 7208?
Mm-hmm.
Found it. Almost importable to Canada. Well, let's have a look here. It says it's in August 2004, and so it would be importable this August. But let's just run the VIN number here. So I'm putting the VIN number of the car into the slot. And it was actually made in July, so you'd be able to import it come in July. What do you think, Mike?
Though. I like the body kit. I've never seen it before, but I like it. I'm a fan. And I like the wheels too.
I do very much like the dual exhaust on the Legacies, especially with the like these cars sound awesome with an aftermarket exhaust. From this generation, they went to a single turbo. They used to be twin turbo, and so I don't know if the sound is possibly going to be a little bit different because of that. But the earlier ones, like the one that I used to own, they sound awesome. I do like the aggressive front end on it because it's kind of like a middle finger to people out there who are like, you drive a station wagon, and then it looks really aggressive.
Yeah.
The dichotomy there is fascinating to me. And the aggressive wheels. I wouldn't pick these wheels, but I don't think that they're a bad one. And
I like if that front bit, there wasn't like two steps on that front bit there at the bottom.
oh yeah?
Yeah.
I don't mind that so much. I do think it's funny that this front grille piece here is so much larger than this one. Like they have the stock hood vent. It's like this one will eat up all of the air and leave nothing for the intercooler. Okay, so condition-wise, let's see. Just over 100,000 kilometers, which can be a good price point if you don't mind changing the timing belt, unless the seller says timing belt has been changed on it, which is a little bit of a pain with this engine because of the layout with the cylinders going sideways. Probably the timing belt hasn't been changed. That means the price is probably going to be a little bit lower because dealers aren't going to have a tough time selling a car here in Japan that has that much mileage that hasn't had the timing belt done yet. Grade 3.5 and D. I find that this auction, the TAA auction, is Toyota Auto Auction, they tend to be pretty picky with their Ds on here, so this might be the same as a C or maybe even a B, possibly. It says the exterior has several small scratches on it. Stereo is missing. The console has a hole in it. Let's see if we can see that in the picture. No picture. Womp womp.
Well, did you just...
The dashboard is torn. Depending on how big it is, that would be a deal breaker for a car that is as easy to buy as the Legacy. Steering wheel wear, carpet is ripped. Yep, that's another one for me. Seat scratches, kind of weird, and wrinkles. Is this a leather seat? It is. I wish we had an interior picture of that. Leather on the Legacy is not that common. The half leather is, but the full leather is not. Aftermarket wheels and rear spoiler has paint marks on it and big scratch over here, and U2 is like that big. So there are a bunch of U2 dents. And then with this style of, because it's computer written here, it kind of gives you less information about the diagram. So it could be a couple of U2s on the panel, it could be one. Whereas a handwritten one, they would show exactly where the dent is, so it gives you a little bit more knowledge about that. But cars from the smaller auctions, like this auction, tend to sell for less as well. So I think that we're probably going to, like this generation of Legacy is very cheap these days. I can't see this selling for more than, let's see, automatic transmission, more than about 120,000 yen, so like $1,000 US for this. Maybe even less. Actually, probably less. 800, maybe 750, something like that.
Would you like another car?
Yep. I'm just going to have a quick look at what the people are saying in the comments.
I have a Honda Beat ready to go.
K-trucks are about $4,000 landed for most of them in the USA. That's including all fees. An MR2 with the Beams red top engine. Is there one available out there? If there is, point one out, because those are fascinating to me. For the final, I think 1 or 2 years of the MR2, they made a version of it that has a similar engine to the Altezza, which is a high revving, high horsepower, naturally aspirated one, to kind of compete with the turbocharged one, but it was down on power by quite a bit. It was like 200 horsepower or something. Also, the Celica got that engine too. And very interesting that Toyota decided to do that at the end of the generation when interest in the vehicle is already waning and the turbocharged one is already faster.
Ooh.
Are you saying, what are you saying ooh about?
It's an old Toyota Crown from the 70s.
That sounds cool. Let's have a look at that.
Ah, it's USS. Never mind.
I'm angry now. My son, some people know because he was on a video recently. He's 3 years old, so he loves all the like the superheroes. And when he gets angry, like seriously angry, he says, "I'm angry," and turn into the Hulk.
The way he says the whole thing, I'm angry and.
Well, he says it wrong. He says, "and turn into the Hulk." So not, "I'm going to turn into the Hulk." Right. He says, "I'm turn into the Hulk."
Does he stop breaking everything?
He tries to turn it into the Hulk. He doesn't break anything. He just goes, "Oh!" It's really funny. You have to be careful not to laugh in a circumstance like that because he might actually turn into the Hulk.
It's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to hedge my bets on this one and not laugh.
I don't want him to know that he can't turn into the Hulk.
Yeah.
E30 Touring is really hard to find. Levi 424 in Japan. They're very uncommon here. And so they come up maybe 3 or 4 times a year. And prices are expensive. You're looking to pay $8,000 to $10,000 US dollars for one that's in really good condition. Maybe lower if you can find one in bad condition. And nobody in Japan wants to buy the ones that are in bad condition because for that kind of car can be fairly expensive to clean up, to resell here in Japan.
Ooh. What about a Kinky Sora? TAA Kinky.
All right, hit me.
336. It's RA grade. Oh, it's actually already gone through auction this morning.
You want to get the price for it?
I can.
That one, you check on Auto Server, they might have the price up.
Yeah.
Auction went through, oh no, it won't be up yet. It just went through 5 minutes ago.
Perhaps by the end of this stream.
Maybe. Or people can just check back because it'll be up here. The final price will be listed. Okay, cool wheels, cool that it's lowered, cool original front bumper that is, I guess, quite aggressive for the time that it came out. Has cool fog lights on there, and then the intakes I think are really cool looking on either side of the license plate. I do like these vehicles. The Soarer is the gentleman's version of the Supra. It's basically a 2-door coupe with the same chassis and the same engines that you can get in the Supra, and very, very popular as a status symbol of the late 80s, early 90s here in Japan. The vehicle, I don't know. It seems like the Soarer, especially, like this is the final generation before the round one, the JZZ30. And people don't tend to give this car an awful lot of credit these days possibly because like the JZX 80s, 90s, 100s steal a lot of the thunder away from a car like this. Because those ones are popular in drifting, and then this generation of the Soarer is really not that popular. I'm not sure why that is. You could get it with a 1J. This one has the not so good engine, the 1G engine, which is an inline 2-liter 6-cylinder twin turbo engine, and it tends to be head gasket blowy. So auction grade RA, let's just put this up here because it's a good looking car. And I especially like the taillights in this car because they say Toyota Soarer right in the middle. That's kind of a cool little thing. And they do make a version of this that's really cool, like a convertible, but almost convertible. Like the C-pillar is still used. It's called the Aero Cabin, and they only made 2,000 of them. Okay, so it's a 1989. It's auction grade RA. It has been in an accident, and the front inner panel and the core support both have small dents in them. Underside surface rust. Door mirror is cracked. Door card has medium cigarette burns in it. Dashboard is torn large or ripped or cracked. And comes up like warped. Seat cigarette burn, large carpet, medium stain, touch-up paint on the car. Right front door has a repair mark. I like how they called it the right front door, as if there was a rear door on this car. Aftermarket shift knob and aftermarket stereo. And then looking at the body, we got a U2 dent here. That's this size. B2 on the back. B and U are roughly the same. I wouldn't be too worried about that. U2 over here. We got a rock chip here. U2 on the hood. I really don't like hood damage on the cars. For me, that's something I want to stay away from. And then the A4 and A3 is likely because the car has bottomed out and it's scratched the underside of this bumper. Possible it's touched the corners here and scuffed the corners. More likely the A4 over here is a fairly big scrape. So that would be over here a nice big scrape from somebody who thought they could turn around the corner but couldn't. Yeah, good cars. They're fun to drive. I feel like this engine isn't as fast as it should be. I think a twin turbo inline 6-cylinder 2-liter should feel faster than this. And if you want to get a Soarer and get a nice good one, I'd go for one with the 1J in it instead, because that engine is just such a dreamy engine. Oh, this was also originally an automatic, has been swapped to a 5-speed. And for some people that would be a deal breaker too, because you would still have the automatic transmission things. Like usually you'll have a warning lamp or two on at the time because they typically use the same computer. And then you would also have the gear selector, like the P, N, R, D, or PD, N, R, 3, 2, whatever it is. What do you think, Mike?
I like how low they are. I've never driven one, but I like the look and I like the style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't do this anymore. You don't have hoods on cars this long anymore. Yeah. Even on like modern cars like a Corvette or a Challenger, they just don't have this low down to the ground. Hood is like 3 centimeters above your knees.
Yeah. And think of all the crash protection.
That's other people's problem, Mike.
Yeah. I do have a question if you would like to go into that. Oh, are you still...
No. Price-wise for this, yeah. They're still rather popular in Japan. Hence why, probably what happened is this dealer bought the car, swapped the transmission, and is selling it as at the auction as kind of a strategy to make money. If you're good at changing transmissions, you can make good money in that, because with some cars you can increase, like, aside from the costs that you put into it, even if you paid somebody to do the work, you can get like $5,000 more for manual transmission version. $650 to $750.
Ooh, and I'll check at the end of the stream to see.
What's your guess on the price of this one?
I've never.
But you've already heard mine, so you can say $1, Bob.
Yeah. $649. I think that's pretty high for that. What?
You think so?
What's the mileage? 147.
US legal. Manual transmission. Oh. Turbochargers.
Oh.
2 of them.
Oh. Sorry. I think 500.
500?
500,
okay.
yeah.
Well, then I'll pick 501.
No, you already did your guess. No take back.
So 500 would be like $4,200 US dollars. And then my guess of 650 to 750 would be somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 US dollars for it. E36 Touring. Here's a funny thing, Mr. I Love Touring BMWs. Aside from the fact that I have a touring BMW in our lot right now, an E46 with a 6-speed manual that is super sweet, but nobody knows about it, so nobody's buying it. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know, but I own cool cars. The E36 Touring wasn't sold in Japan. The E30 was, and it did so unsuccessfully in Japan that they didn't bring the E36 to Japan. But then the people in Japan were like, I don't have enough BMW wagons. So the 46 was very popular here. But the 36, if you want to get one in Japan, it's either one that's been imported or it's an Alpina model, because Alpina Japan, they were like, there's enough people that want the wagons, so we'll officially sell these as an Alpina product. So if you wanted one, then you needed one from Alpina. And they sold quite a few of them by Alpina standards, even though each model only like 400 to 600 units were made. But very, very good cars. The E36 looks great as a wagon, and Alpinas are fantastic cars. So do look into that. How much do they cost? I don't know, because there's so few of them that it's hard to set a price. We bought a red Alpina with 150,000 kilometers on it, so pretty high mileage, but the condition was really good. And we bought it for 700,000 yen. And a lot of the value of an Alpina comes from the fact that it's an Alpina, and like you can say, oh, 325 of these were made, and so it helps to sell them.
I have a question from Zibilster. He would like to know about the Impreza springs. Are we going to suffer with bouncy springs?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I don't know how many people who are watching this have been keeping up. Somebody says, shut up, Derek, show me your E46. It's on the channel. You can go search for that if you like. I'll show your comment, even though you told me to shut up.
I'm the bigger man here. I've taken the high road.
I'm looking for compliments, everybody. Hey, when was the last time we got a super chat? Hey, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you send a whole bunch of super chats from, like, fake accounts just to make it look like people should be doing that?
Oh, yeah, okay. We'll start getting them.
Last 2 or 3 streams, we didn't get any. Yeah, that E46 that I got is really rad, and I'm ready to sell it at a good price. So if there's anyone who wants an E46 Touring with a 6-speed manual, you can get a good deal on that, because I'm ready to send it to auction, because nobody bought it when we listed it. Yeah, I'm going for the beard. My wife and I had a fight, and so as punishment, I grow a beard every time we fight.
It's like, I'm giving you the silent treatment. Well, that's not going to last long.
I'm giving you the beard treatment. And because I haven't shaved any of the beard yet, I get it thicker in here and then scrappy over here.
Yeah.
When it comes in fuller, it looks a little bit better, I think. Or worse, if you ask my wife.
It's definitely a better beard than I can grow. So,
I was really hoping that you would see my beard and go, I can do that.
No, I'm just like, well, you got me beat. You'll never see my...
Every dude in BC has a beard. Yes, this is my my BC-ness coming through. I'm feeling homesick.
Or homeless.
I have 11 stock cars, Bill, so that's going to take a long time for me to sell them all.
So the Impreza question.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I forgot what we were talking about. But the Impreza that we bought for our ice drifting event that we're going to be doing, February 16th. Video will probably be out about a week after that, because we got Other Mike. That'll be his official name, Other Mike.
Other Mike.
Doing the video editing for us now, which is very cool. If you guys haven't watched any of those videos, please do have a look. We bought, based on the cars that you guys wanted, which is kind of a cool idea, we bought a whole, or here's the way it worked. I said, do you want to bid on a car in Japan? Do you not have enough money? Well, I've got the money and you guys pick the cars. And so you sent in cars and then voted on which cars you wanted to buy, and then we bought a car, which was an Impreza, and we just have a video that went up last week of us now that we received the car. And the car is basically good everywhere, with a touch of rust on it in some places, a kicked-in door, and the only mechanical problem seems to be that the coilovers are blown, at least the 2 front, and because of that, the springs make a knocking sound. And we have, here's the answer to your question, we've bought a new set of coilovers. They're used, they were cheap. We're going to have them come in, put them on, and then put on the new wheels and tires that we showed you in the last stream. So if you want to see what those look like.
Just a quick question about the Defender. They said they're having trouble getting the hood open. Is there any other VIN number?
Yeah, there's one on the chassis rail. On the right side of the vehicle. So if you're sitting in the driver's seat, it would be the right side in front of the front tire. There's one etched into the chassis there. Or they can look at one through the windshield. Right in front of the steering wheel, there's one on the windshield too. Or one behind the windshield. 3 VIN numbers on the Defender. That's weird that they're having trouble starting it. Oh, I hope it doesn't have battery problems.
If not, I'll go down.
They should have a jump
okay.
box.
They're just trying to find the VIN.
What tires did we get? We got Pirelli. What are the Pirelli tires that we got? Asymmetrical ice or something?
Yeah,
I don't know. They're used tires on used wheels, 17-inch. Kind of 90s Japanese looking wheels. Looking through the chat right now. We got another 14 minutes.
And a lot of people, not a lot, but a couple of people are complaining that we don't always get to their questions. We try to do our best, but...
You need to send in better questions, and then we're going to answer them. That was that was kind of a dick move to do, but that's the entire purpose of the super chat. And so if you pay money, we'll absolutely answer your question, but we're not going to be able to answer every question. And so that's the way that it is. But we do this stream every week. If you want to be patient and you want to cheap out, then you don't have to pay us anything, and you can just wait, or you can send us an email. We're still over a week late on replying to emails. We're at 10 days right now for our one that's most outstanding, but we do reply to all of them. Okay, Tony Yang asked me what my favorite car is, and it reminds me when I was a kid in second grade asking my friend what his favorite Nintendo game was, and then I used to get so frustrated at him when he's like, I don't have a favorite Nintendo game, and all I wanted to do was ask him that same question over and over again because I was an idiot. My daughter did the same thing. Derek, what's your favorite Pokemon? And I'm like, I don't play Pokemon. I don't know what you're talking about. And yeah, I've answered this question before that I don't have a favorite car because I don't think I used to have a favorite car. I can remember as a kid my favorite car was the black Trans Am with the chicken on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not on the hood. I'm thinking Pontiac Firebird, not Trans Am.
Yeah, Firebird, right?
Oh.
Trans Am with chicken.
Was that like your first favorite car that you remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sadly, it was this version of it, which in retrospect, I prefer this one, but don't really even like either of them that much anymore. And then after I liked this car, then the next car that I was into was a C3 Corvette, which is still a fantastic looking car to this day. Oh, that's so good. And then after that, the car that I got into was the Mini, and I ended up buying it as my first car. Not this one though. Mine looked more like this one. And I guess, like, I've had a lot of cars that I've loved. Not very many cars that I love more than the Mini, the Honda City, which we do have a bit of an update on. We're sending that to the shop because I can't manage that. We're sending it to the shop to get it fixed. After it's fixed and roadworthy, then we're going to send it to a shop to get rust repaired and repainted. And it's probably going to be pretty expensive, but it's a car I've always wanted to have. Honda City, I'll show you that. Honda City Turbo 2. Yep, looks like this. And I've always liked small cars, so this is cool. I also really like the Evo 2. This one, we've sold tons of these, and they are so incredibly fun to drive. It's weird because the 8.6 is another car that I've always loved. And have a lot of experience driving them because I drove them for about 2 years as my daily. And there's something weird about cars that aren't good but feel really good to drive. Like, for example, this car here feels way more fun to drive than most other faster cars. And then the Delta that I just showed here, it's a fantastic performing car, but there's just something about it that makes it feel really incredibly special and really fun to drive in the same way that a GTR doesn't feel, even though the GTR is still one of my favorite cars.
Now they need help at the lock, so I'm going to go down.
What kind of help?
The hood doesn't open.
Okay.
So
What's the problem with the hood?
she wants to check engine oil and everything like that.
They don't need to, because we've already checked all of that and everything is okay on that car, so they can just drive it without opening the hood. But the problem that they're having is that the hood release, you need to pull that, of course. When you go to open the hood, usually all you have to do is release that thing and then lift the hood. But the Defender, probably because of low build quality, you have to put a lot of effort into pulling it up, and then it go gunk, and then you can release that thing and pull it up.
Okay.
You just have to be strong in order to do that. But they can receive it without lifting the hood. And I opened the hood last week when I was shooting the report on that, and there was no issue with opening it. And no issue with oil or coolant. It's all good. You just have to be strong. And make sure that you pull that release strongly too, because everything from the Land Rover Defenders, they're like 1940s technology. And you just have to be strong and like a Viking in order to, tell them, be Viking-like. Just say that and see if it works. And of course, I like GTRs, I like Silvias, I can find something I like about every car, I bet. And this one here is the final edition that was only sold in Japan. And it's in BC now. Very cool. And they're really expensive. These are, in good enough condition, these will pass $100,000 these days. And we have sold a few of them from Japan to various other countries, but we bought them when they weren't $100,000. I think the most expensive one that we sold was around $60,000. And that one's probably worth about $100,000 now. Tater's gonna tate. We imported this one Jimny from Japan, and it arrived with close to no oil in it. Is it normal to drain most fluids to make the ship lighter, or no?
What? Wow, wait.
No, they don't drain the oil to make the cars lighter by 3 kilograms.
Yikes.
Because that would destroy the engine if you ran out of oil. So that would be a really stupid thing. They do have a regulation that if it's on the vessel, it needs to have less than 1/3 of a tank of fuel in it. And most of the time, they will drain the fuel completely and just give it enough to get on the vessel. Plus, most of the cars at auction have almost no fuel too, because, I don't know, I guess people like to use up all their fuel before they send the car to auction. This one here is just a rendering of a new version of the Delta, because the new one is actually kind of ugly. The old one's so good. I love cars in the 80s. Hard to find these in good condition, and they break, but they're worth it. It's kind of like an adult's car. Once you have enough money to pay for a car that always breaks, then you can get some special cars. Otherwise, you go with Japanese cars that never break. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get off of the porn here. I mean the Delta porn. Okay, so hopefully they're going to be okay with that Defender.
I just got the hood open now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Would you like one more car?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
It's a 70. 3063 CAA Toho. Would you like to know what my first favorite car was?
What was it?
Ferrari F50.
Ah.
That's why I prefer the F50 to the F40.
Oh.
Regardless of facts, figures, anything. Does not matter.
Here's something you don't see every day. A Land Cruiser with a roll cage inside.
Oh.
That's really weird.
They trust its off-roading capabilities to a point.
I suspect what happened here is they wanted to take the roof off, because this is an FRP removable top roof. But the weird thing about this car is that the removable roof is not really removable. Like in this one here, it's not the package. So it's a convertible car from the base, and they sold it with an FRP, fiberglass reinforced plastic roof. And then you technically could take it off, but you needed to purchase an option kit from Toyota at the time that you bought the car, or aftermarket, which would allow you to take it off properly. And this kit came with different doors on the back, which are very hard to find these days, and little nubs on the hood so you can fold down the windshield, because you can see the hinges on it so you can fold it down. And it came with an inside roll cage so that the car would be compliant for rollovers and stuff like that. This one doesn't appear to have any of that package, and so they wanted to take the roof off, which you can still do, but then you have to take the rear doors off, because otherwise you get the no roof, and then the door comes up here, which looks really weird. And you would get the same thing with these doors too. And so you would probably have to take all the doors off.
Could I give you a call?
That's a little bit weird.
Just on the live stream at the moment.
Somebody's calling and now because not here.
Right, we'll speak to
Okay,
you
but 70 series Land Cruisers are very nice. This one's a short wheelbase. Probably one of the most capable vehicles right out of the box. Maybe this and the Jimny, but the Jimny would be much down on power compared to the 4.2 liter non-turbo inline 6-cylinder diesel that these came with. And they're built to last. They're built strong. Axles are pretty good. They're not like American truck good, but usually you don't need stronger axles than this unless you're going to be doing something that requires them, i.e. putting like 42-inch tires on the vehicle. But I think you'd be fine with regular axles at 37s for almost everything. The inside roll cage is kind of cool, but I absolutely wouldn't drive this myself because you would hit your head in an accident and you'd die. And so I'm not down with the death. And so don't want to see this roll cage as the last thing that I see. The roll cage that comes in at stock has bumpers on it, for one, but secondly, it's only goes across here and the back. And then it doesn't go in the front here where you're going to hit your head. Prices of these are up. This one's a 5-speed, which makes it more expensive. It doesn't have the lockers for the diffs, which is a downside, but that's life. Wait a sec, what year is this? 93. Oh, the lockers for the 93 would be on the other side. Do we have a picture of it? No, we don't. It's literally right here where the switch for the lockers is for the electronic ones. And then the cable ones are over here. Yeah. Condition-wise, so rust and corrosion is going to be a big problem with these. This one here says it has a soft top that comes with it. It's been lifted up. It says it has diff locks in it, so there, that answers our question. Mud terrain tires on 16-inch aftermarket wheels. Radiator and AC compressor have been recently replaced. Underside has corrosion repairs, and corrosion repairs are never going to be as nice as having no corrosion. A lot of times the repair is only going to be good for 5 or 7 years or so before it starts corroding again, and then it becomes more difficult to treat that again afterwards. But finding a 7D series with no corrosion at all is also very uncommon. Rear floor has corrosion. Floor member has been modified. Rear cross member deformation. That's probably why it's a grade 3. End panel has corrosion level 2, so C2 corrosion. Carpet has been removed out of it. Seat is ripped, a small rip. Interior liner has a rip in it too. Interior dirty, side mirror scratched. Full repaint of the car in a different color than original. Aftermarket shift knob, steering wheel, exhaust, roll cage put into the car. Aftermarket front bumper and rear bumper has been taken off. Has a little bit of corrosion on this side, but otherwise the body seems to be pretty good. It looks good in white, but I'm not really down with a color changed car, even though it does look really cool. And this car looks cooler in person than it does in pictures. And I think that this goes with a lot of especially older cars, because you have to imagine that you're looking at this car right now on the internet. You can look at anything on the internet, but like so many things, especially the things you want to see on the internet, it looks different in person, especially when it's driving around other cars that are looking more modern, because this has such a classic look. If you see it driving down the street next to a million Prii or Priuses, how do you say that?
Prii. I like doing that for the plural.
Priusi.
Can I ask a quick question?
It's going to stand out, and that standing out is going to make it look more attractive, I think.
Hood. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Continue. Just.
No, we're at 12 o'clock, Mike. Are you asking me to continue?
No.
The only
it's
way we
about
continue
to-
at this point is if people give us free money.
Is this the free money? Free money.
You always see people on YouTube going like this when they're trying to explain something, and I don't understand what it is because I don't do that at all.
I only do that if I'm like, okay.
The plural of Prius is Prii.
Yeah.
Or is it Pre? I can't read that. Flavian.
I like.
Flavian, send me a message on Facebook. We have a change to our ice driving event, and we might be staying in the same hotel as you. Or cabin. I need to know if you've booked yet. The truck's not a guy. He's going to be coming with us for our ice racing thing. Or ice drifting. I don't know what it's called. I don't know! And my family's not coming anymore. Because I grew a beard. My wife's like, nope, can't stand you sitting in the car with you. The guy with a beard probably has crabs in his beard. Which would be a really strange thing for my wife to assume. Hopefully strange. We're going to end the stream here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you guys again next week. And what do you say at the end of a stream to sound cool? Peace out!
Peace out.
Yes, Elizabeth, my favorite Mercedes car is the same as yours. And that car is famous enough that nobody needs to search it. The Evo 2, or even the regular version of the 190E is a fantastic car, but I also really like the E500/500E. It's also a fantastic car. But I would prefer to go with the twin cam because I think that that's really awesome. Okay, the end, everybody. And don't damage the Impreza. It's already pretty damaged. In fact, I was thinking about getting a boot print to put on the huge dent on the door because I think that would be funny, but I couldn't find anyone selling a boot print.
Boot print. Oh,
Like somebody kicked it?
There's still something I want to do that I need to do.
Okay. Is it going to be a secret or you want to tell everybody?
Secret.
Is it going to be a secret from me?
Secret.
Is it going to be
From
one of those
everyone.
like Top Gear things where it's like, I gave you a secret. It's a dead fish underneath your seat.
That's what that smell was. Yay, surprise!